Hey, it's the Ultimate Handyman. Today I'm going to show you how to repair a valve that's under your sink that is leaking when you turn it off. Now this valve is connected to 1/2-inch copper, and I'm going to be showing you step by step how to replace it. So the first thing you're going to need to do is turn off the water on the house. So what you're going to do is you're going to locate where the hose bib is on the front of the house, and most likely the main water line will be connected to that, and you'll see the valve there. This is a gate valve, so you're going to have to turn it clockwise to shut off the gate valve. You just keep turning until the valve doesn't turn anymore. Now if you have a frozen valve at the house and you cannot turn the water off, you're going to have to turn it off at the water meter box. These are usually located by the sidewalk, and they're labeled water. So you're going to take this tool that I have here. This is made for shutting off these meter boxes. You can get these tools at any kind of hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, and they're relatively cheap. Now if you don't have one of these tools, you can use some crescent wrenches. Put one crescent wrench vertically onto the valve, and then you use the other crescent wrench to turn the one that's vertically on the valve, and that works as well. So before you replace your old valves, open up your hose bib and relieve the pressure from the house. This will evacuate a lot of water out of the lines so it doesn't end up in the house. So the next thing I like to do is I'll take a hose and screw it to my old valve, and then I will put the hose in a little catch bucket and open up the valve. Now sometimes you won't get any water that comes out of the system. It all depends on how the house is plumbed, and other times you'll get a ton of water that is left in the pipe. Say the pipe is coming from the second story down the wall. All that water is trapped in the pipe and it needs to come out. And as you can see here, there's quite a bit of water left in the pipe. So yeah, make sure you do this step and always have a little catch can and maybe even a towel handy to catch all that residual water that may end up on the floor. Now it's time to remove the old valve. I'm going to be taking 2 crescent wrenches. Now the crescent wrench that's in my right hand, I'm going to be pushing that in the downward direction towards the floor. And then the other wrench, we're just going to hold the valve part still so we can break the nut free. And you're just going to turn it until it gets loose enough to remove by hand. When you pull this valve off, make sure you have your catch can underneath it ready, because there might be a little bit more residual water left in the pipe. As you can see here, it kind of made a little bit of a mess. Now that our valve's off, we're going to have to remove the nut and the compression ring from the copper pipe. So they make a special tool for this job. It's called a compression sleeve puller tool, and they have these on Amazon for relatively cheap. They're about $40, and this tool is worth every penny because it makes this job so easy to do. So basically you just put the tool over the pipe, and you want to line up the screw threaded part with the center of the copper pipe, and you can see it kind of pressing its way into there. And once you get it snug, you just start turning it, and it slowly but surely pulls that nut and ferrule off of the pipe with ease. So I highly recommend you check these out on Amazon. I'm going to put a link down below in the description so I can make it a little bit easy for you guys to check out. Next, we're going to remove the escutcheon ring. It's kind of dingy and old looking. Now I've got some 800 grit sandpaper here. We're just going to clean up the pipe with the sandpaper. Mine weren't too bad. And then you can wipe it clean. And then I also deburred the ends of the pipe. They were kind of sharp, and it's always nice to clean those up before you put the new valves on. Here's my new escutcheon ring. Hello everyone. We're going to slide that over the pipe. The valves I'm going to be using for this job are the SharkBite brand. They are 1/2-inch by 3/8 inch compression. Now, it doesn't really matter what brand you use. If you shop at Home Depot, they sell the Brasscraft brand. And the thing is, all these valves do the same job. And the ones I'm using here are actually quarter turn, which is really nice because you only have to turn the valve a quarter of a turn to turn off the water or to turn the water back on. So the first step to installing the new valve is we're going to take our nut and put it over the copper pipe first. Then comes the ferrule or ring. We're going to put that on the pipe, and then we're going to put the valve onto the pipe, and we're going to hand tighten it. So these valves come with a 3/8 inch nut and compression ring, you're going to want to leave that installed on the valve. That way it can protect the threads while we're tightening up the 1/2 inch nut. So when you're tightening up your valve, make sure you're putting some pressure against the valve, pushing it into the pipe. You want that pipe seated all the way to the back of the valve. And then once you start to feel the ferrule snug up against the pipe, it'll hold everything in place, and then you can start to really wrench on that nut. So how tight do you make the nut? I would say to snug the nut down pretty good, and then just give it an extra like 1/4 turn, and that should be tight enough. Now if you start to bend the copper pipe to the side, then you're definitely putting too much pressure on it. And if you don't make it tight enough, if it's too loose, it can leak on you because you didn't compress that ferrule to the pipe enough. So this one you're going to kind of have to feel for yourself. So now I'm going to turn the water back on. So make sure the valve is in the off position. This is the off position. And if you look down in the valve, you can kind of see the ball. It looks kind of like a marble. And so when it's in this position, if you see it look like a marble, it's off. And if you don't see it look like a marble, it's open. So make sure it's in the horizontal position. So now I've got the water back on. I'm going to perform a leak check. I like to just run my fingers around where the copper pipe meets the valve and check my fingers for moisture. I didn't have any leaks. Also listen for any kind of hissing sounds. That'd be the air escaping from the pipe if you did have a leak, but we didn't. Now, before I install my new vanity and faucet, I like to flush out the copper pipes because there could be some debris in there left over from when we changed the valves. I did deburr the end of the pipe, so there was probably some copper filings in there, and that'll help to flush everything out. And it also gets all the air out of the lines so that when you put your new faucet in and turn it on, the air doesn't kind of spatter out and blow like water everywhere. So that's it for this video. Literally, I just finished making it about 10 minutes ago, and I'm pretty tired. It's actually past midnight, so I better get to bed. But before we end the video, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I'd love to answer any questions that you may have. And if you found some value in this video, please leave me a like, and also subscribe to my channel if you already haven't. I'm trying to build this channel to over 10,000 subscribers, and I could really use your help getting there. And if you know anyone that has a leaky valve in their house, please share this video with them. And with that said, I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you the next project. And oh yeah, don't forget to check out my other videos right over here next to this video. All right, it's time for bed. We'll see you next time.